All hell is going to break loose. That is what President Trump is promising Hamas if the next round of 3 hostages are not released this coming Saturday as promised. It's part of the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas in Gaza for a war which may have already claimed close to 50,000 lives. The deal essentially calls for hostages to be released in return for Palestinian prisoners, yes, including terrorists. But Hamas is now accusing Israel of firing on Palestinians in Gaza in violation of the ceasefire. They also claim Israel is blocking the movement of medical aid and shelters into the region, as well as the return of Palestinians to the northern strip. Hamas still has 76 hostages, 44 of whom are believed to be alive, largely taken during the October 7th massacre. President Trump says the next 3 hostages need to be freed on Saturday by 12 o'clock or there will be hell to pay.
Mr. President, when you say all hell is going to break loose, are you speaking about retaliation from
You'll
Israel?
find out, and they'll find out too. Hamas will find out what I mean.
Mr. President,
They're going to find out what I mean. These are sick people, and they'll find out what I mean Saturday at 12.
This is the guy who took out al-Baghdadi of ISIS and Qasem Soleimani of Iran in surprise strikes. So I think Hamas knows he means what he says. This isn't Obama's red line in the sand that could be crossed without any real issue. Plus, this is President Trump's defense secretary literally doing physical training with our troops right now in Germany. Do you think he's going to be MIA like Lloyd Austin was? Not a chance. So unless Hamas has gone full-blown suicide cult, I know they're almost there, then they need to tread wisely here. Joining us now to discuss all of this and more is Representative Pat Harrington of North Carolina's 10th Congressional District. He also serves on the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thanks for being here tonight.
Kara, thanks for having me. Great to be with you.
Great. So we are hearing a lot of strong verbiage coming from President Trump. What do you make of his threat to Hamas when it comes to the release of the hostages?
You know, what a breath of fresh air. That's what real leadership looks like. It's something that's been missing in this country for 4 years. And look, I think, as you pointed out, between al-Baghdadi, who died like a dog, and Qasem Soleimani, who was part of the IRGC, the head of it, and was killed, President Trump means exactly what he says. And I think that our adversaries, particularly Hamas in this situation, would do well to take him very seriously. Because they know that he means what he says. He'll follow through.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, when it comes to terrorists, when they take hostages, this is the reason why they do it. They know that the group that they're taking the hostages from are people who want the hostages back, right? We are people. We have a certain high moral standard, and we don't want our people, in this case, the Israeli hostages, being killed, being hurt for any longer than they already have. I mean, October 7th of 2023 was so long ago, and yet Hamas knows that, right? And so they use that against us. They can hold these people hostage, and then they can just keep ramping up the pressure. And so many people are dying because of it. And so President Trump is telling Hamas, you know, and he's saying, you know, this isn't going to work on me. This is what terrorists do all the time. And we need to break that grip that they have because too many people are dying. And Hamas needs to give up these hostages, like you said, a breath of fresh air. So when it comes to our defense secretary, we see him over there in Germany, right? And he's putting on, I think, a good show for the rest of the world. Once again, showing that he means business as well. What do you make of his physical training with the guys over in Germany?
I love it. I can tell you as a former special operator that when senior leadership comes in and actually participates in what you're doing, it means the world to you because it shows you that they're willing to share in your sacrifice, in your training. It says so much about what type of a leader that Pete Hegseth is. And it also shows very convincingly that there has indeed been a cultural shift in our Department of Defense, right? We are moving back to that warrior culture, not this DEI culture that the military used to have. There's a very substantive change that has taken place. Our service members are witnessing that firsthand, and I think all of America and all of the world should take note of it.
Yeah, you know, that's what they used to say about fighting forces, lean, mean fighting machine. And I think that's what we're getting back to. And yes, just the visual aspect of it tells a lot. You know, President Trump, when it comes to all of his cabinet members, and especially with DOJ, right? It's trimming that excess, it's trimming the fat, the fraud, the abuse, the left-wing patronage networks, getting rid of all of that, getting rid of the social experiment that was foisted upon our military, and making the government in all of its aspects run efficiently. So again, it can be a lean, mean fighting machine,